Somewhere among nearly 40 million people across the vast land of Canada, there exists a quiet life that few ever touch. That life began after WWE's darkest moment, when the lights went out and the noise slowly faded away. The figure at the center of this story was once known to the world as the Hitman. Today, it is the life of Bret Hart, who stepped away from the rings and returned home to Canada, choosing wide-open land, long winters, and a slower rhythm of life. And if you want to understand how Bret Hart operates his life today, join us as we step inside this home to see the rhythm he chose after everything. But before becoming a widely recognized name and building the solid financial success he holds today, Bret Hart's childhood was largely untouched by lights or spectacle. Born in Calgary, Alberta, on July 2, 1963, he grew up in a household where professional wrestling was not a career choice, but a daily reality. As the sixth son of Stu Hart, the founder of Stampede Wrestling, Bret was introduced early to the harsh discipline of the dungeon, a training space where technique, control, and endurance mattered more than display. His teenage years were shaped by weight training, amateur wrestling, and local matches that paid only a few $100s per appearance. The income was enough to get by, but not enough to save. By the early 1980s, Bret's net worth was effectively zero, traded for a technical foundation that would quietly shape his entire career. By the mid-1980s, Bret and his brother Keith Hart had become reliable figures in Stampede Wrestling, capturing multiple tag team titles, including the NWA International Tag Team Championship in 1984. The success brought modest financial stability, but it was short-lived. In 1985, Stampede Wrestling collapsed financially and shut down. Bret, with savings still under $100,000, was forced to leave Canada in search of opportunity in the United States. When he signed his first contract with the WWF in 1985, Bret earned approximately $300 per match, working primarily opening bouts. His monthly income reached only a few $1,000s, covering expenses but offering little upward momentum. The shift came with the formation of the Hart Foundation. Their rise to the top of the tag team division, capped by the WWF Tag Team Championship in 1987, elevated Bret's annual earnings to an estimated $100,000 to $200,000 by the late 1980s. This period marked his first real accumulation of assets, pushing his net worth toward $500,000 through salary and modest real estate investments in Calgary. From 1991 onward, as Bret transitioned into singles competition, both his status and income accelerated. Championships at the Intercontinental and WWF levels secured him a base salary of roughly $500,000 per year, supplemented by pay-per-view bonuses and merchandise revenue. The defining moment came at WrestleMania 12 in 1996, when his Iron Man match generated an estimated $750,000 for him alone. By the mid-1990s, his annual income approached $1 million, raising his net worth to approximately $2 to $3 million. In 1996, Bret signed a landmark 20-year contract with WWF valued at roughly $20 million, averaging over $1 million annually, and including creative control and image rights. The agreement, however, ended prematurely following the Montreal Screwjob in 1997. Despite the controversy, compensation and prior earnings allowed Bret to exit with his net worth stabilized around $4 million. Later in 1997, Bret joined WCW under a contract reportedly worth $3 million per year. Over 3 years, he earned close to $9 million from base salary, championship bonuses, and involvement with the NWO. Even as injuries limited his in-ring activity, he received approximately $1.4 million in 2000. By the time he officially retired, his net worth had climbed to an estimated $7 to $8 million, reflecting the most financially productive period of his career. Following his retirement in 2000, Bret shifted toward passive and part-time income. His autobiography, released in 2007, generated several $100,000 through sales and publishing rights. Combined with coaching, speaking engagements, and select appearances, he maintained annual earnings between $200,000 and $500,000 throughout the 2000s. His induction into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2006 opened the door to a Legends contract, increasing annual income to approximately $1.2 million through licensing, merchandise, and image rights. Between 2010 and 2020, Bret continued to appear selectively in major events, documentaries, and community initiatives, earning an estimated $800,000 to $1 million per year. Even after being diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2019, his financial position remained stable, with net worth holding near $7 million. Entering the 2020s, Legends contracts, digital media, and anniversary documentaries continued to generate around $1 million annually. By 2026, at age 63, Bret Hart no longer competes but still earns approximately $1.2 million per year, with an estimated net worth of $7 million. His financial legacy stands not merely as the result of championships won, but as the outcome of a career built on discipline, technical mastery, and resilience long after the lights went out. That same discipline now finds its clearest expression in the place he chose to live, beginning with his home in Canada. Home in Canada. This is Bret Hart's private home in Alberta, Canada, located in his hometown of Calgary. It is a quiet residence, chosen for its sense of separation and control rather than display. Bret often uses a small studio by the window to record short videos announcing upcoming appearances and projects. One recent example shared from this space was his collaboration with Tag Grading, a VIP-focused production package for exhibition attendees, posted on his personal Instagram. The house does not seek attention. It functions as a stable, neutral backdrop for work and communication. Beyond work, this home is also a place of hospitality. Bret often invites friends and former students over for meals and unhurried conversations. The atmosphere remains relaxed and familiar. Nothing here feels staged. The house allows people to sit, talk, and stay without feeling on display. The home spans 3,154 square feet and includes 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. On the ground floor, natural light plays a defining role. It moves freely through the space, drawing the eye upward toward the living room's soaring ceilings. The hardwood floors add warmth underfoot, while refined decorative elements and carefully chosen lighting fixtures introduce character without excess. One of the most distinctive features is the curved staircase, which rises gently through the space. It is elegant, but not theatrical, designed to guide movement rather than dominate the room. The kitchen continues this balance between function and comfort. It is clearly designed to be used every day while still accommodating gatherings with ease. Ample storage keeps the space uncluttered. Quartz countertops provide clean, durable surfaces, and under-cabinet lighting softens the room as the day transitions into evening. High-end appliances are integrated seamlessly, including a Sub-Zero refrigerator, a Wolf induction hob, a chimney-style extractor hood, and built-in microwave and oven. Nothing feels added for show. Every element has a purpose, and every purpose supports daily life. Adjacent to the kitchen, the dining area opens outward through double-glazed doors to the south-facing backyard. When those doors are open, the house breathes differently. Light extends deeper into the interior, and meals naturally spill into the outdoor space. The boundary between inside and outside becomes fluid, especially during warmer months. On this same level, the house includes a self-contained study, a small powder room, and a well-planned storage room with generous pantry capacity. Upstairs, the layout creates a clear sense of separation without isolation. A large shared living area sits between the primary bedroom and the secondary rooms, acting as a buffer that preserves privacy while maintaining connection. The primary bedroom is calm and restrained, designed as a place to truly rest. Its 5-piece ensuite bathroom includes a soaking tub, 2 sinks, a separate walk-in shower, and a spacious walk-in closet. The space feels restorative rather than indulgent, with light tones and a layout that encourages stillness. 2 additional bedrooms complete the upper level, along with a full 5-piece bathroom and a fully equipped laundry room. Each room follows the same visual language: soft light, neutral finishes, and an absence of unnecessary detail. The basement remains unfinished, with a backyard exit already in place. It opens directly to exterior pathways and offers clear sightlines toward the yard, leaving the future of the space open rather than defined. A 3-car garage, high-quality finishes throughout the home, and a location close to Calgary's city center complete the structure. More than anything, this house reflects Bret Hart's current rhythm: private, grounded, and intentional. It supports the life he lives now, not the past he left behind. From this home in Calgary, the story shifts to Hart House, where Bret Hart was trained from a young age and shaped into a professional wrestler. Hart House in Canada. This is Hart House, the legendary mansion of Alberta's leading wrestling family. Built in 1905 by businessman Edward Crandall, the house entered the Hart family's story in 1951, when Stu Hart purchased the 3-story property for $25,000. Set on 2.17 acres and spanning roughly 5,600 square feet, this was not simply where Bret Hart grew up. It was where his life was quietly shaped, long before the world knew the name, the Hitman. From the outside, Hart House carries the confidence of early 20th century craftsmanship. Red brick walls, a broad balcony, steep gabled roofs, and tall chimneys give it a presence that feels established rather than showy. The house does not announce wealth, it suggests permanence. Sitting slightly apart from its surroundings, it feels designed to hold a large family, steady routines, and the long winters of Calgary. Inside, the rhythm becomes clearer. The layout is generous but grounded, with 22 rooms spread across 3 levels. Original woodwork frames, doorways, and staircases, creating a sense of order that runs through the house. Natural light moves carefully through large windows, softening the weight of the materials rather than competing with them. There are 4 fireplaces, each anchoring a different part of daily life, and 5 chandeliers that add warmth without excess. Even after extensive renovations, the house never feels polished in a modern sense. It feels used, layered, and lived in. At the center of Hart House's reputation is the basement, home to the room known as the dungeon. It is small, square, and enclosed. There is nothing theatrical about it. This was where Stu Hart trained wrestlers through relentless repetition and physical pressure. Bret Hart and his brother Owen learned here the same way many others did, through exhaustion, control, and precision. The space carries none of the spectacle of a gym, holding instead a discipline applied daily and without compromise, a character it still retains today in quiet contrast to the refinement found upstairs. Beyond the dungeon, the rest of the house offers balance. Living rooms open naturally into one another, built for conversation rather than display. The dining areas feel made for long meals, not formal occasions. Upstairs bedrooms are practical and restrained, shaped by family life more than luxury. A vault tucked within the home hints at legacy and responsibility, but it never dominates the atmosphere of the space. Hart House was nearly fully renovated over the years, yet its core was preserved. It remained a family home that also functioned as a place of training, gathering, and testing. That dual identity is what makes it singular. Few houses in sports history have so closely connected everyday domestic life with professional consequence. In 2010, the property was sold for approximately $5 million, closing one chapter of the Hart family's physical connection to the house. Still, the imprint remains. This was not just where Bret Hart lived. It was where discipline became routine, resilience was learned quietly, and a global wrestling legacy took shape. one room and one day at a time. Setting these historic homes aside for a moment, we move to the garage, where each car reflects a chapter of Bret Hart's life today. Car collection. After years spent inside the ring, Bret Hart's relationship with cars has become simple and personal. What he drives today is no longer about proving anything, but about how his days actually unfold once wrestling is behind him. The first car that opens this collection is the Ford Mustang convertible. Low, open, and easy to recognize, it is a car Bret turns to when time finally belongs to him. He began using it during a quieter stretch of life, when travel slowed and evenings were no longer dictated by schedules. With the roof down, the Mustang turns ordinary roads into moments of release, especially during late-day drives across Canada. Valued at around $58,000, it reflects a kind of freedom chosen calmly, not displayed loudly. That sense of openness gives way to something more grounded with the Volkswagen Atlas. This is the most recent vehicle Bret added to his garage, purchased at a local dealership where staff recognized him and paused for photos beside the car. Taller, restrained, and built for space, the Atlas fits a routine centered on family, community, and everyday movement. With a current value of roughly $40,000, it represents balance and stability, the kind that no longer needs attention to feel complete. Bret Hart's cars are not about speed or performance. They quietly show how control, once demanded by the ring, now shapes a life built on restraint and intention. Once the roads quiet down, the story naturally turns to how Bret Hart gives back, quietly, in his own way. Philanthropy. From 2000 to 2026, following his retirement from the ring, Bret Hart has maintained a steady but understated commitment to philanthropy. Over this period, his direct personal contributions are estimated at approximately $200,000, while the total amount he has helped generate through appearances, campaigns, and fundraising events is estimated at around $400 million. The contrast reflects a clear pattern. Bret gives less by writing checks and more by showing up. In the years immediately following his career-ending injury and stroke, from 2000 to 2015, Bret focused on stroke recovery awareness and athlete health. While personal cash donations were limited during this period, the events and initiatives he supported as a speaker and public figure are estimated to have generated approximately $5 million for health and community-related causes. After overcoming prostate cancer in 2016, his attention shifted decisively toward cancer awareness and early screening. Between 2016 and 2018, his involvement with cancer research organizations and public health campaigns is estimated to have contributed roughly $8 million to broader fundraising efforts, driven largely by public and institutional donors responding to his advocacy. More defined figures appear in 2019. That year, Bret partnered with the Calgary Hitmen to raise $16,317.75 for the Calgary Prostate Cancer Center and led the Hart family team at the Terry Fox Run, raising $3,150. His participation in Movember campaigns during the same period is estimated to have supported an additional $2 million in global fundraising. In the 2020s, Bret expanded his focus to indigenous and environmental causes. In 2022, he redirected a $10,000 Walk of Fame award to Indigenous youth and clean water initiatives in Canada. In 2023, his role as the central figure at the Heart of the Matter Champion for a Cause event is estimated to have helped raise $1,500,000 for children with autism, while wildfire relief efforts he promoted in Alberta generated approximately $1 million. From 2024 to 2026, Bret continued smaller but consistent efforts, including in-kind donations valued at $5,000 to $10,000 in 2025, and charity appearances that are estimated to have added roughly $2,500,000 to overall fundraising totals. For Bret Hart, Philanthropy is not a reinvention, but a continuation of life after the spotlight, measured less by visibility and more by consistency and impact. After all the appearances made in service of the community, Bret Hart returns to the least visible part of his life, a personal world he has preserved as an anchor after decades of upheaval, personal life. At 63, Bret Hart's life in 2026 moves at a quieter, more deliberate pace. He lives in Calgary, the city where everything began, and has chosen to stay rooted there rather than drift between appearances. His days now revolve around health, family, and familiar routines. He no longer competes, but he has not disappeared. In August 2025, he made a brief appearance at a Regina Thunder event, publicly thanking the organizers and fans. It was a small moment, but one that reflected how he remains connected to the wrestling world without letting it dominate his life. Family sits at the center of this phase. Bret is the father of 4 children from his first marriage to Julie Smadou, and his bond with them has grown stronger over time, especially after years marked by personal loss. In 2025, when his eldest daughter Jade openly shared her battle with breast cancer, Bret's support stayed largely out of public view. Within the wrestling community, however, it was clear that the Hart family closed ranks, leaning on one another rather than on headlines. Since 2010, Bret has been married to Stephanie Washington, and together they share a steady life in Calgary, filled with ordinary things he values deeply: gardening, reading, and long conversations with old friends from the business. On social media, Bret remains present but selective. His recent posts focus on event appearances, gratitude toward local promotions, and the promotion of business partnerships such as limited edition spirits and Roots of Fight apparel. He rarely shares intimate details, preferring to keep his private life intact. Even so, his tone suggests contentment rather than withdrawal. In recent years, he has also spoken casually about projects like Hitman's Bar in Calgary, envisioned as a simple gathering place tied to memory and community rather than spectacle. Today, Bret Hart's personal life is defined less by what he shows and more by what he protects. It is a life shaped by experience, grounded in family, and lived with intention. Bret Hart's story does not end in the ring. It settles into something quieter. If you want to continue exploring lives shaped beyond fame, you know where to find us. See you again, videos.